Well, hello everyone. Welcome to this on-demand webinar specifically for the SBDC about QuickBooks Online. And what we're going to talk about today is QuickBooks Online Accountant. These are some really great tools that Intuit has that are going to allow you to support the small businesses that come to your local SBDC to get some help. So for your new small business clients, we've got some great tools to show you. A little bit about myself. My name is Stacy Kildall, and I own and operate Kildall Services LLC in White Lake, Michigan. I have written a lot of the QBO, the QuickBooks Online training material for the various versions of it: US, Canada, Singapore, Australia, and UK. I was one of the first Pro Advisors to get certified in QuickBooks Online, and I'm also an advanced certified QuickBooks Pro Advisor. So I know desktop and QBO, QuickBooks Online, very well. And I have been teaching QuickBooks, again, QuickBooks Online, and the desktop editions nationally and actually internationally. I was in Australia last year to end users, other accounting professionals, QuickBooks consultants. I've been to the ASBDC conference in 2013 and 2012. So I get to teach a lot of different people how to use the products. And one of the reasons I get to do that is because I'm a member of the Intuit Trainer and Writer Network. And we are practicing accounting professionals who have applied and auditioned, and we develop and present training material for Intuit. One of the fun things, the more super fun things that I get to do is every week I co-host and I'm co-founder of a weekly online radio show. You can listen to us after the fact via the website, or you can grab us from iTunes, but it's called Radio Free QuickBooks, and every Wednesday night from 7:30 to 9 p.m. We answer QuickBooks questions, best practices, how-tos, tech support, troubleshooting, and we have a lot of guests on there as well too that talk about, fraud protection and tax compliance. So really not just for accounting professionals, really anybody who uses QuickBooks or has a small business. So I really encourage you to check that out. What we're going to be talking about today is I want to show you how QuickBooks Online can benefit you in supporting your small business clients when you do your consulting. I'm going to show you where you can go to sign up for QBOA if you haven't already done so, how to add a QuickBooks Online client to your client list. I'll show you some screenshots of how that works, and then how to manage your QuickBooks Online clients using QBOA. And then I'm going to show you some features. So I'm going to get into product, and I'm going to demo some of those features that are available when they come to you, because I know, having talked to you at the conferences, I know a lot of you do QuickBooks cleanup. And this is going to be a little bit interesting because I'm going to show you what we're calling classic QBOA versus what the new interface looks like. So a new interface for QBOA users, because some people may still have the classic and they may not have converted to the new interface yet. So we're going to do both of those in our webinar today. So one of the things that we need to explain is just exactly what QBOA, or QuickBooks Online Accountant, is. It's an accounting solution that Intuit offers that it really enables accounting professionals, bookkeepers, basically anybody who's working with small business owners that are using QBOA to really do tasks faster, whether it's increasing billable time, if you're a bookkeeper or an accountant, or if you are a counselor like you guys at the SBDCs, really help us. It's really going to help you get the clients, get their QuickBooks fixed, get things cleaned up, do a review, and it's going to help you do it a lot faster. One of the first things that I do is ask a client, even a prospect, if they can add me as an accountant user so I can just kind of poke around and take a look at it, so I have an idea of what I'm dealing with when they come to me. So the other thing that we need to explain is that QuickBooks Online Accountant, really we need to look at it as a portal that you're going to use to access the client's QBO data. So it's still going to be limited to the client subscription level, whether it's Simple Start, Essentials, or Plus. But you do have some tools that are not available if you were not an accountant user and you're not logging in via QBOA. So while the small business owner may have essentials, which means they won't have budgets or inventory features available in that subscription level, neither will you. You also won't have the ability to print 1099s. So, whoever's logging in through QBOA won't either, but you will have some of the tools that are available, the batch reclassify, the write-off, the bank reconciliation tools. So there's a lot of other things that are available, but you have to understand that if your client doesn't have the feature included in their subscription level, we won't either if we're logging in via QBOA. And this comes about, and the reason I make a big deal about this is it comes about a lot when I hear other accounting professionals say, well, I logged in through QBOA, I wanted to do 1099s. Well, the client may have Simple Start or Essentials, so that's not a feature that's included in those subscription levels. So I just wanted to make that clear. So what does QBOA do? First of all, it's going to give you a client list that you can sort and filter, and one-stop shop basically, where you have one login for all of your clients. As long as you're the accountant user and you're using the same Intuit ID, the same QBOA ID to set them up or to be invited and invite the when the client invites you as an accountant user, you'll have one place to log in and see a list of all of the small businesses that you're supporting. So you have an accountant center that's going to give you a lot of tools. There's some reconciliation tools where you'll be able to troubleshoot. You'll be able to see the rec status for all of the accounts. You'll be able to undo bank reconciliations. You'll also be able to reclassify. So when we're talking about cleanup work, we'll be able to write off, reclassify, find some missing transactions. We can also enter adjusting journal entries. I know that's a big part of cleanup, is doing adjusting journal entries. And while a regular QBO user can enter a journal entry, you can only mark it as an adjusting journal entry when you're logged in via QBOA. And therefore, you can only see the adjusted trial balance report, again, if you're logged in via QBOA. And so there are some extra reports. There's a balance sheet, a comparative balance sheet that's just kind of a default report in QBOA. You can create that as a QBO user, but you have to memorize it. You have to customize and memorize it, where it's just a default report if you're logged in via QuickBooks Online Accountant. So just a couple things that it does. It has a couple extra bells and whistles that the regular QBO user wouldn't have. So when you sign up for QuickBooks Online Accountant, if you're a Pro Advisor, whether it is the traditional Pro Advisor or the Cloud Pro Advisor, and there's another webinar that we just recorded for you guys about the Cloud Pro Advisor program, you can sign up right from the software and discounts page on the website. And so the QBO certification is live. You can go get certified if you're a traditional Pro Advisor. You can get certified in the desktop and the online edition. If you're a Cloud Pro Advisor, you have the ability to get training and certification for the online version only. So really good tool is to make sure that you guys sign up for the Pro Advisor program, at least the Cloud Pro Advisor program, because it's going to help you let clients know that you're out there. Another way that you can sign up for QBOA is you can get invited by your client. So you can go to accountants.intuit.com, sign up for the Pro Advisor, and if you have at least one QuickBooks Online client, or for 6 months, you'll have it for free if you don't have a QBO client and you're not a Pro Advisor. You're not part of the Pro Advisor program. So when you get invited by your client, they're going to go to their Manage User screen, and I'll show you how to get to that. And then they're going to invite you as the accountant user. So here is the login screen for QBOA, and you can see you're just going to enter in your username and your password if you already have one. If you don't, you can see that there is a place right here where you can go in and create a new account if you need to. And then here's what we're talking about when your clients invite you. The client is going to go to the Manage User screen, and this is what they're going to see. So you'll be able to go ahead and you'll invite that. They're going to go to, in Classic QBOA, they're going to go to the Company menu, Manage Users. In the new QBOA, they're going to go to the gear icon and Manage Users and invite you there. Really simple process. You can see here we have 2 people that are invited. You can have 2 accountant users, or your clients, I should say, can have 2 accountant users per QuickBooks Online subscription. So if a client comes to you and maybe they already have a bookkeeper or a CPA that they're working with, they can actually add you as well as their accounting professional that they maybe have on staff or that they're working with. When you get invited, you're going to receive an email, and you can see right here, this is what on the left, this is what the email looks like. It's going to say you will receive an email from your client's QuickBooks Online subscription. All you have to do is click the accept invitation button. One thing I want to say is, and I notice I say all you have to do is click that. You want to make sure that you are not logged in to any other Intuit account. So log out of any other Intuit account, and you want to make sure that you're using the same Intuit ID to accept these invitations, so that you have, if you have more than one, because I know some people may have more than one Intuit ID, you want to make sure that you always use the same username and password, the same Intuit ID when you accept the invitations, because that way all your clients will show up in one client list, and that's really the whole point of using QBOA. So when you click on that accept invitation, you'll see this screen over here on the right. It's going to ask you to sign up or log in if you already have that QBOA account. And so if you are a first-time user again, you'll just have to say create account or sign up. Pretty simple process. And once you do that, you'll see this is the classic QBO screen or QBOA screen. I'm going to show you the new client list when we get into product and show you the differences between the two of them. But you'll see once you accept the invitation and you log in, the client will now be in your client list and you can access whenever you need to. And so you should have all of your clients in one location when you log in. Another way to get a client in your client list is you can actually export directly from QuickBooks Pro, Premier, or Enterprise, so the desktop version. And with QuickBooks for Mac 2014, you can export directly from the Mac version as well. So just a couple screenshots to show you how simple this is as well. You're just going to go, if you're in Pro, Premier, Enterprise, you're going to go to your company menu, and down at the bottom you'll see Export Company File to QuickBooks Online. Your next step, it's going to say, hey, your existing file is going to remain untouched, so that desktop file, there's nothing that's going to happen to it. You just click that continue button, and what QuickBooks does now is it takes a look at how you're using that desktop file, and it's going to say, you know, hey, just FYI, there's some things that you're doing that are not going to be the same, or they're not available in QBO. And so for this particular screenshot, this is using very customized form templates. The customization in QBO is very limited, so that might be something that you want to talk to the small business owner about to make sure that it's going to work for them. I know a lot of small businesses, when they're dealing with larger vendors, the vendors have to have the invoices formatted a specific way with very specific information on it. If that's the case, QBO may not be the best solution for them. They're using price levels, or they have price levels set in their QuickBooks desktop file, so this may not be the best solution. If you go to Sleeter, SLEETER.com/blog, and you look for Stacy's Online Solutions, I have a couple of articles that I've written, one about considerations that you need to think of when you're converting from desktop to QBO, and when you're converting from QBO to desktop, because not everything transitions very cleanly. Most of, I'd say 90% does, but there's a few things that you need to take into consideration. So once you understand this, you can go ahead and hit continue. And then the next screen is going to ask you to either create a new Intuit ID if you don't already have one, or use your QBOA. This is what I usually do, is I use my QBOA Intuit ID. I will log in, and then it's going to ask me if I want to use an existing one. So I may have already created a new company, and I'm going to show you guys how to do that when we get into the demo. Or if my client has maybe already set up a subscription but hasn't done anything and invited me, I can go ahead and select that one. So when you do this, you have 60 days from the time that you start your subscription with QBO to import or convert your QuickBooks desktop data. When you do that, any data that is in your QBO subscription will be overwritten. It's going to be replaced. So you can start fresh with a new company file, or if you want, you can import it into an account that already exists. Hit continue. And now we're going to go ahead and I'm going to show you guys how to manage the QBO client list, the QBOA client list, and we're going to do some, show you some features. So we're going to move around in product now. So right now I am logged into a classic QBOA account, and so you can see this is my client list right here. I have all of my clients listed. If I click on these little triangles, it's going to allow me to edit some of the information here, the phone number, the address, the company name. This isn't going to change the client data. So in their actual QBO subscription, nothing will change. This is just something that I can use. One of the things that I do is I will sometimes for the email address, I'll use this one if I'm doing demo or quarterly client, or I'll indicate something special that I need if I want to see this, see it when I'm looking just at my client list. So if I wanted to, I could say, maybe use this one. This is what I would do if this were going to be one of my demos. So you can see when I'm looking at my list, I can differentiate them a little bit. Here, you can't change the name here, but you can change the phone number and the email address if you need to. So to click and to access these clients, these QBO subs, all you need to do with the classic QBOA client list is click on the company name, and then it's going to open up in a new tab. Another thing that I want to point out here is we have the what's new, so you can click on here and a new tab will open up and it'll show you the differences, all the new features that have just been announced recently. We also have a sample company. So if you're using QBOA and you have this classic QBOA and maybe you created your account a while ago and you still have access to this, what will happen is it will, this sample company, it will open up a test drive and you'll be able to actually gain, a lot of knowledge. You'll use this during your certification exam. If you go in here, you can see there's data that you can use. You can access everything that's in here. Really nice tool, the sample file. Another thing that we have is over here to the right, we have your account. So if I click on the account, this will show all of the information that we have, and you can go in and edit your password and your security question as well, and then the company information here. We have the help menu. If you want, you can go ahead and ask into it. Again, QBOA stays open in its own tab, and anything that you're clicking to open up will open up in its own tab just next to it. So here we have our online support. You can go in and search, you can check out the online community, you can go to common questions, and you can also contact support as well. So here we have chat help, and we also, because QBOA and QBO is global product, you'll have to let it know which one you want. Going back, if I just click my back button, you can get chat support here as well, and it'll take you to the same screen. So I want to tell you, I absolutely, positively love the chat help. I can't remember the last time that I actually called in to ask the question. I generally use the chat help that's available. If you're a pro advisor, there is a mobile app for the iPhone that you can download that also has a chat help as well too. So just wanted to mention that. And going back to the QBOA screen, if you want and you're using the classic interface here, if you click try it now, I'm not going to do that right now because I want to leave this in case I have any other demos, and I'm going to show you what it looks like, but you can click that try it now and it'll take you to the new interface. And then the last thing I want to show you is that you can create a new QuickBooks Online subscription here for any of your clients as well. So you can put in the company name and you're able to choose QBO Essentials Plus, or either one of those with payroll. What's going to happen when you do this is going to make you the master admin and the accountant user automatically. So you won't have to be invited as the accountant user or anything. So when you create a new company, a new QBO subscription from QBOA, you are automatically the master admin. So what happens after you get it all set up is you're going to want to invite the client, the small business owner. Once they accept the invitation, because this is going to be their subscription that they own, you're going to want to transfer the master admin, and I'll show you how to manage users in just a second. The reason why there's no Simple Start here is because you can't add another user. Simple Start only has the one user. So if you create a new QBO subscription here and it's for a client, there's no way for you to invite them and then transfer that master admin, which is why it's not even an option. So I'm going to actually go ahead and pretend that I clicked to try it now, but I'm actually going to just I'm already logged into another QBOA subscription. So we'll go ahead and take a look at that. So I'm logged into the new QBOA here. You can see it looks quite a bit different, completely different interface. And the first thing that you'll notice is a way to filter this. So right now I have this and I'm looking at all of my clients. But what's really great about the new QBOA is if you are working with them to prepare their tax returns or help them with their tax returns, this is a really nice tool if you're helping doing tax planning. If you're a paid tax preparer, if you're an accountant, CPA, EA, and you're helping them, you don't necessarily have to do the return for them, but we have Intuit Tax Online here as well. So if you have ITO clients, they connect with QBO, and so you'd be able to see all of them. I know that there's a lot of accounting professionals, and actually I've talked to some SBDC counselors who will help, they'll use the ITO to help their clients do some tax prep, so they'll actually basically go through and use Intuit Tax Online in conjunction because it integrates with QBO to kind of do a return so they can kind of do some tax planning, and they'll take it all the way up so they know, at any given point during the year, if it was the end of the year, what would they have to do? So what do they need to do to prepare for the end of the year? So that's what's really cool about this screen. As you can see, here we have all of our QuickBooks Online subscription clients over here, and then if they were ITO, they would be here as well. And so they can be both, as you can see right here. We have this one. This is a QuickBooks Online and an ITO client as well. When you're looking at this column, this allows you to edit the client. You can start a new Intuit Tax Online tax return right from this screen, or if you're no longer working with them, maybe they have removed you as the accountant user, or maybe they have deleted their subscription for whatever, you can actually mark them as inactive. If a company or a small business, somebody deletes you as the account user, you will get an email notification letting you know that has been done. We can also, while I'm over here, click on my little gear, and I can choose how many rows per page I want to look at. So right now I have 25, but if I choose 100, you can see I have all of my clients here showing up in this screen. So we have a lot. We use this test account quite a bit. I can filter it by using this bar up here, and as I hover over, they kind of pop up. So if I want to just look at my ITO clients, it'll filter it by my ITO clients. If I want to look at just my QBO clients, we have that as well. So these are just my QuickBooks Online. If they have ITO and QBO, they will show up in this list, but this is just showing the QBO clients. There are some really neat features that are included in the new QBOA interface as well. One of these being, if I go over here to the left to my notes and tasks, I can actually look at any notes or tasks that I have created. These are things that we create, and you can share them with other users. You can assign tasks that you need to do for your clients. A lot of different reasons to do this. Maybe you spoke with a client and they need they need some information, or there's somebody else on your staff that's working with this. Whatever reasons, there's a lot of neat ways to do notes and tasks. And if I click on this, this is saying here's a new note. I'm editing that note. Can you look at the bank recs for Larry's company? And you can assign this. So once you assign it to a person or give it a due date, it becomes a task. And once it's done, you can mark it as complete. I'm going to cancel that, and you can see there's status. If I want, I can go ahead and mark this as completed. Right now it was filtered to past due, so now I can take a look at all the tasks, my tasks. I don't have any past due, all notes by notes. So, and then I can actually have it show those completed tasks as well, so I can see everything. Over on this side, we have our help. So if we click on this, this is going to have all of our help references here. We have our live chat, we have our tax online support, we have the online communities for QBO and Intuit Tax Online. We also have the assistant, which are these little pop up, these kind of I call them like little sticky notes that will pop up that will show you how to do stuff, and you can get rid of those anytime you need to. Going back to our help drop down here, we also have a sample file here as well. So this is where you're going to access it if you're using the new QBOA interface. Over here, next to that, we have tasks. This is just going to show you if you had any tasks that were yours. What's pretty neat is if I wanted to, you can assign it, and if there were any that were you, there'd be a little badge up here showing you how many that you had to deal with. Over here, we have notes, so I could say, hey, this is a new note. And I can assign it to, we'll say Larry's Landscaping. I don't want to make it a task. I can just go ahead and add it. So the next time we log in, we have our notes here, and it's just a little note saying, hey, maybe I talked to the client. You can use these pretty much for whatever you want. I love this. It's kind of one place where you could go and communicate. Our gear icon, this is where you'll see all of your company information. So here's your personal information for you, for your QBOA information, your login, your tax preparer info. If you are a paid tax preparer, you can put that in. That'll be coming soon. Going back to our gear icon, here is the firm information. So this is the company information, federal ID number, all of that good stuff. So this is for the company, not just you individually. If you are a firm, may not apply to some of you SBDC counselors. Billing profile, and then you can also add employees. So if there are other counselors that you're working with in your office that may need access to this, you can actually ask them and invite them and give them access to the same client list. Right now, there are no access rights at the time that I'm recording this. There aren't, but I don't know when or if that will change. But right now, if you go ahead and click on your employees, and so you can actually go ahead and invite someone else. Once you invite someone else to do this, you can assign them as a user or a firm owner. The firm owner will be able to see pretty much everything, and they can access the free My QBO company. So as a QBOA user, you get a My QBO company that you can use if you were running your own practice to run a practice, but you don't necessarily need to. What would be great for you SBDC users is you guys could actually take maybe a sample file from the desktop and convert it to that My Free QBO company and use it to kind of play along and add add-ons and delete add-ons, because with the sample company, once you log out, anything that you've done in there goes away. And so I know that there's a lot of accounting professionals who will use that free My QBO company that you see right here, and they will convert an existing desktop sample file, and they'll use that to test things out, because things won't disappear if they log out. If they make any changes or want to check out an add-on, they can add that on, and it'll all still be there when they log back in. So that's how we invite others, and you can delete them if you need to. And we're going to go ahead here, and I'm going to edit this. And I can maybe change them from a firm owner to a user. And then the last thing is you can actually go back and say you can change back to the original client list, which is that classic QBOA interface that we saw earlier. And also this is where you're going to sign out. So you always want to make sure that you sign out of any Intuit realm when you're done, because if for some reason you have other IDs and you go log in, you might get some funky little messages. So when you're done, you always want to make sure that you just sign out rather than just canceling out of the screen. So I'm going to go back to my client list, and you can see this actually still stays open. To close that, I'm just going to click on my name or my gear icon, and that'll pull that right back up. So now we get to go into Client File, and I'm going to show you the Accountant Center. The tools pretty much work the same regardless of whether you're using QBO Classic or the new QBO interface. So the first thing I'm going to do is show you how to access a client. And this one right here I have is a QuickBooks Online Classic. So this is the older interface. They introduced the new QBOA in the summer of 2013, and the tools are pretty much the same, but where you access them is a little bit different. So to edit, I want to show you that too. So if I want to go edit this, I can click on the name, and you can see I have edited the name of these clients. So if I just edit profile, this is going to allow me to change the email address, the organization name, and I have this set up so that it shows right at the top of my list so that I know that when I do demos, this is for my classic QBOA. Really simple. If I wanted to click on here, any tasks that I had would show up as well. I can click the back button. It'll take me back to that last screen that I was at. But to get back to my client list, I can just click my clients over here and it'll take me right there. And you can see if I click on Larry's Landscaping here, it's going to take me to that client center, and here's the new note that I just put in, and I assigned it to this client. So going back to my client list, to actually access the QBO subscription, I'm just going to click on the logo. So if I wanted ITO, I would click the ITO. If I wanted QBO, I'm going to click the QuickBooks logo right here. So that's going to open up, and you can see my QBOA tab is going to stay here. What I generally do here is I do a pin tab. So this is just a simple nav trick, and because I would like more real estate, because while I'm working in this client I may have more than one screen, more than one reports. I might want to look at different things here, and this is I think something that a lot of people who are new to QBO don't realize, that you can have multiple windows open. There's no open window list because that's what our tabs do. They tell you where you're at in QBO. So I have a little bit more real estate on the top of my screen, especially if I'm working on my laptop and I don't have dual monitors. What I do is I will right click here and I will make that a pin tab. So it starts out like this, and again, right click, say pin tab, it just shrinks that down. I know my blue dot is QBOA, and it's always going to be here over on the left of all my tabs. So after I clicked that QuickBooks logo, my client data opened up in a new tab, leaving my QBOA open. And so this is the classic QBO, and this is the interface that we have. And you can move some of this stuff around. You can add content to the page here if you need to. So I can put in messages and tasks here. Maybe I want to put this over here. So you can see I'm moving some of these widgets around in my Accountant Center in the classic QBOA. We have what's new, we have accountant preferences, we have tips. I can just close that. So really all I want to see is the downloaded transactions and the reconciliation screen. And we're looking at the Accountant Center here. In the old version, the classic version, anything with a green star is something that's only available in QBOA. Anything else you can still access as a regular QBO user, but I just wanted to show you that. You can get your help here. Also, we have the live chat. We have the help and support as well. Other thing I want to point out is please use the feedback. Really important. This feedback actually is on a monitor where the QBO team in Mountain View works, and they see this feedback coming in real time. So if there's something that you see that maybe you want to suggest an improvement or a feature that's just not there yet, please use this feedback. Be very specific. If you don't mind being contacted, include your contact information. This feedback really dictates the improvements and the changes that come to the product. So this is just the Accountant Center interface in the classic QBO, and I'm going to go ahead and close that. I could leave this open, or I can close this tab. And if I want to switch a client, all I have to do now is click on the QuickBooks logo here, and it just opens up instead of. So I didn't have to close this tab at all. I just had to go back to my QBOA page here and click on that logo, and the new client data will open up in that tab that I already had. This is the new QBO. We were looking at classic QBO, and so this is the Accountant Center in the new QBO. Couple things I want to point out. Over here is our left navigation bar. So this is where we have our accountant home. This is going to be basically your Accountant Center. If you are helping them, you can go to Book to Tax right here, and this is going to allow you to do your tax line mapping, make any adjustments that are needed, and then click Generate Tax Return. And one thing that I want to point out is you're not paying for any tax return unless you print it or e-file it. So you don't have to worry about getting charged. You can still go in and do that book to tax if you need to. Oops. You can still go in and do that book to tax if you need to, so you can help your clients out. So going back to my accountant home, I want to show you the first thing that we can do is we can set our period review dates. So maybe I want to look at, we'll take a, say, last year, and I can assign my report basis, so cash or accrual. I'm going to look at cash. My books have been closed. So what this means by the default date is any report that I open up will now default to last year. So kind of a neat tool. I can close the books directly from this page. So my books have been closed as of 1/1/14. Maybe I don't want them to be closed, so I can maybe delete that and save. Oh, a close date. So I'm sorry, we'll say 1/1/13. We'll change our date, and then we'll say save. So now I can go in and I can make any changes to last year if I need to. Go back over here to my accountant home, so you can see in my books the date has now changed. When you close the books, I highly recommend putting in, if you're doing that, I highly recommend putting in a password because you know, the client will invariably sometimes make a mistake and change it. So really recommend, if not a password, at least a warning on there. The next thing that you see here is our activity feed. Right now, at this point in time, this is showing pretty much everything that's happening in the data file. So we have, you can take a tour of the home page. The sales receipt was entered in. This check was entered in. Some overdue invoices. So this shows up almost on every page. If I were to, go over to the client home, this is the home page that your client, the small business owner, would see when they log in. We, again, have that same feed over here. Back to our accountant home, if I scroll down just a smidge here, we can see our reconciliation status. This screen, or this little area right here, this is showing you all of the accounts that are able to be reconciled, all of the credit cards, bank accounts, checking account, saving account, all of those will all show up here, and will show you if they have been reconciled. So you can see this account has been reconciled as of 12/31, and as I click on it, it's going to take me to that reconciliation page. I'm going to get back to that in just a minute because I'm going to show you some really great bank reconciliation tools. So if we go back to our accountant page, I just clicked on that anywhere on this and it'll take you to that reconciliation screen. Underneath our reconciliation status, we have some accountant tips here. So if you want to work in multiple companies, return to visit pages. So there's just a few tips here. And again, we have that live chat. The one thing that I love that Intuit does is they make it really easy for you to get help with the product, whether it is searching their online database, they have a community, they have a really great help menu, or using the chat. Now the rest of our accountant tools, if we click our gear icon, we have an accountant section over here, and the first one that I want to show to you is the batch reclassify. So there's a lot of times where I have seen clients maybe they pick the wrong account when they write a check, and they do it at the beginning of the year, and maybe they're writing a check to a vendor that should be office supplies, and instead they have chosen office equipment. What QuickBooks will do is it will remember that transaction. You can put in a preference to remember that transaction or that account, the last transaction. And so what happens is they'll put in the check the next time for that same vendor, and it'll remember that they used equipment, office equipment, the last time, and so they'll post it there. So that'll keep happening all year when really these are office supplies. It's not equipment, it's not an asset, and what happens is their balance sheet, their P&L, their financial statements are going to be off. So what we can do here is we can use this batch reclassify screen to do that. If I want, I can go here into maybe delivery fees, and what I've done here is I've chosen the expense account, and over on this side I want to look at all of the names, and I want to make sure that I show either all of the transactions. I don't have to make sure. There's ways that you can do this. You can say I want to look at all of the transactions. You can look at non-item based transactions and item based transactions. And when you're looking at item-based transactions, you can't actually change the expense account that this transaction is posted to. And the reason why is because it's an item, and you have to fix this on the item level. I really like to take a look at this, at accounts with an item-based filter. Maybe I have design services over here. Under landscaping services, and it's not a discount account. You see, I can see this is a discount, so this should be showing as a negative. Maybe I have another income account that says design services, and it's showing a negative 9,000. Well, what I know is that either a check was written and posted to an income account incorrectly, or maybe it was a vendor that they paid for design services and someone entered the check in wrong, or the item has been set up improperly. And so maybe there is an item that should be design services on a vendor bill. But what I know is that you can use the item-based transactions if you're seeing balances over here in these accounts that look a little hinky. You can use those item-based transactions to determine whether or not the items have been set up correctly. If you need to, you can reassign the class tracking for item-based transactions. So when we're dealing with non-item-based transactions, we can actually reclass this. We can reassign both the account and the class tracking with these. So you can see I chose delivery fee here. I've selected non-item-based transactions, and maybe we just need to look at a specific name. So if I want to, I can look at just the Cena lumber. So maybe these shouldn't have been delivery fees here. Maybe they were something else. So we have all of these. They were assigned the class of landscaping, and they were assigned to that delivery fee. So down here, I can go ahead and I can choose what I want these to be. So maybe we need to make them, maybe cost of goods sold for some reason. So we can change the account, and we can also change the class if we need to from landscaping to maybe this is just some overhead. So once we do that, you can see right now they show class, they show delivery fee. I have chosen the account and the class. I'm just going to click reclassify. So they're no longer in that delivery fee if I still have it filtered. If I remove that filter and show all, I can still see all of those that I have in there. But as I scroll up here and I look at my cost of goods, there are those 3 transactions, and so they're now posting to my cost of goods account as well as the overhead. So batch reclassify is really helpful. You can really pinpoint not only by account, but you can also filter by name as well. Moving back to our gear icon, we have the voided and deleted transaction. This will show you any transactions that have been deleted. This is a great way to check for fraud. I have had, over the last 10 years, I have seen it happen a few times where someone has maybe created a check and printed it and then deleted it, not thinking anybody is going to know that. This voided and deleted transaction report is taken directly from the activity log, and the activity log in QBO is pretty extensive. It shows when users log in, when they log out. It shows when they make a change to a vendor name, phone number, any of the vendor records. So if you're looking at an activity log in QBO and you see, that a user has edited the vendor, printed a check, and then edited the vendor again, I would really make sure that you got a look at that check. I have seen that 3 times in the last 10 years, and each time the employee was changing the vendor name to themselves, printing the check, and then changing the vendor name back. So they didn't realize that they were going to get caught. So this voided and deleted transaction log, great fraud catcher. Also, you can see when maybe a client has deleted a transaction that was already cleared in a previous period. Lots of different things that we use the voided and deleted transaction report for. Going back over here, we have our write-off invoices. This is if you have a small business owner who knows they're not going to get paid. You can see here we have a couple, we filtered it by anything that's over 180 days through a certain date, and maybe we want to look at the end of that year. Here, and we just click refresh. I'm going to have it, and I don't want to look at a specific balance. I want to refresh, so it's showing me, obviously, this is a demo account, so these are all of our overdue invoices, and maybe now we'll say, let's look at anything with a balance that's less than $100, and maybe we'll go ahead and write that off. So we have quite a few. I can check here and it'll click select all of them. It's going to ask me what account I want to use. I want to use my bad debt. Then I can go ahead and click preview and write off. It's just going to make sure, verify that I want to do that, and I just confirm it and write off. So what that does is it applies a credit to that account, and basically the invoice will no longer show as being paid, but you will have, $244.46 here sitting in your bad debt. The last thing that I want to show you are some of my favorite tools in QBOA, and these are the reconciliation tools that I kind of alluded to a little bit earlier. So going back to my accountant home, you can see here I have one checking account that has been reconciled. So none of these other accounts have been reconciled. And again, demo account. So when I did these reconciliations, I made sure I messed them up. So I just click on that account. And looking at this screen, I get really excited about this because I see a few things wrong. The first thing that I see is that there's totals in the changes column. And what this means is that one or more of the transactions that were already cleared in a previous period have been changed. Any total here is going to be a cumulative total. So this could be 10 $1 transactions or one $10 transaction. Same here. This could be two $50 transactions or one $100. If you click on this, it brings up this little pop-up here, and I can actually click and take a look at that. So you can see my original amount was $105. It cleared, and then somebody changed it to $205. Maybe it was a simple accident. Maybe they did the bank reconciliation wrong the first time and they marked it as cleared, but then when they realized it, they went in and edited it. Whatever reason, you can click on this and it's going to open that check. And when the new QBO, that check screen comes down sort of in front of the page that you're looking at, so you're not really navigating anywhere else. So I can take a look at this, I can see what happened, I can make any changes, and then when I'm done I can click cancel. Brings me right back to the reconciliation page. I can close on that. The auto adjustment, this means that somebody forced a bank rec. So you can see here in July and in September, somebody forced a bank reconciliation in QBO, which means the bank account didn't reconcile. So they just said, what I love is basically I was teaching somebody a few years ago we were converting from one system to another, and I asked the bookkeeper, so what do you do if this doesn't balance, when this difference on the screen doesn't say 0? And she said, I just click enter, 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 enter until the stuff stops popping up on the screen. So this is generally something that may have happened. We have auto adjustments. Unlike the change column, if there's anything in the auto adjustment, pretty much anything in one of these columns, if you click, you're going to get to the same place. So if I click on here, these links, it's going to take me to the reconciliation report so that I can compare this to the bank statement and kind of see where things may have gone awry for whomever did the bank reconciliation. Clicking my back button takes me right back to my reconciliation screen, and I get to show you guys my very favorite, and you may have already seen it popping up as I've been hovering, is this undo button. So I see that every time this person has reconciled, they've had a problem. So what I would do if this were my client is I would probably just undo all of them and start from scratch to see if I could figure out where the problems were. So as I'm hovering over this, I'm going to click undo. What's great about this is when I undo that July one, that means that August and September are also going to be unreconciled as well. If you're not logged in as QBOA, and QBOA was the accountant user, the only way to undo a bank reconciliation as a regular QBO user is to uncheck every individual transaction. So you have to unmark the cleared status for every transaction. So this is a huge time saver, and for me, a sanity. It keeps my sanity, and I would just click OK to unreconcile all of those. Those are some of my, that's absolutely positively, the bank reconciliation tools are my very, very favorite tools that we have in QBOA. So I think QuickBooks Online Accountant is going to be a really great way for you to really support those small businesses that come to you looking for help. And so I'm hoping that you guys enjoyed this webinar. I really enjoy being able to share QBOA with anybody who is working with small business owners, whether you're a bookkeeper, accounting professional, SBDC counselor, it doesn't matter. There's some really great tools here, and I think the new interface is pretty fabulous. So you should now be able to know that QBOA can benefit you. How to sign up for QBOA, you can go to accountants.intuit.com. You can sign up when you sign up for the Pro Advisor program. You can add a QBO client to your client list by either having them invite you, by creating a new QBO company, or you can actually do it if you want to via the desktop version when you do a conversion. So there's a couple different ways. You can manage your QuickBooks Online clients using the client list, and then I showed you some of the tools and features that are available just for QBOA users. So next step, I want you to check out that QBO test drive. You also have that, this is a little bit different from that sample company that I just showed you that's in QBOA. So when you log into this test drive that you see on the screen, you won't have all of the accountant tools, but you will be able to, take it for a ride, basically. Take it for a test drive. If you want to play with the QBOA tools, sign up for a QuickBooks Online Accountant, account, and use those sample files. In the old, you remember in the classic QBO, it's over on the left-hand side, and in the new QBOA interface, you're going to go to the help, and it'll be right there. So we have some other webinars for you. We have Train the Trainer, we have Get Started, Expanding QBO, Cloud Pro Advisor program. So I really encourage you guys to check some of the other ones out, and thanks for spending the time with me.